Ryan here with Texas United Realty. I'm here to show you how to draw up a listing agreement and package using Transaction Desk. Now, with my Texas United or United Real Estate agents, we follow a checklist. This is the checklist here. If you want to take a screenshot of this or ask me to send it to you, my phone number will be in the comments, 281-541-2417. Now you can take a screenshot of this because this is the checklist that I follow, as well as after closing. This is everything you need to put into your paperless pipeline, which I have another video on. Paperless pipeline is what we submit our documents to. That's this. After you log in, you can also find it in your Bullseye account. But to create the contracts, you need to go to Transaction Desk. How to get there is on this screen of har.com. Do not hit Access Matrix. Go to Third-Party Tools and hit Transaction Desk. I'm going to make this video as quick as possible for your time. Now, I'm going to find a mock listing of mine. This is a mock because I am going to use my name, and I am going to use my brother's name so that there's no conflict of information going out there. Again, this is the checklist. I'm going to downsize it. I hope you took a screenshot or pause the video. Again, this is for these agents down here at the bottom. Okay. Now here's my mock listing. I'm going to go to create transaction. It's right here. I'm going to name it the address. I already have a Jones Street, so this is going to be just the test. You would not put test there. Template, listing template for residential. Import data from, you can do from the tax records, Harris County, because you won't have the MLS yet because you're creating the listing. I don't know why Apple does that. My Apple loves to just pop up things, windows. Okay, Harris County tax ID. Well, you can find it by going to tax, matrix tax, hitting the right county, and putting in the address. I'm literally going to show you how to do everything. Let's see, why isn't it Jones? I know it's in Fort Bend. Why isn't it coming up? I'm not sure why it's not coming up. It should have came up. I'm just going to have to go. It should have came up. I'll show you how it comes up. 2402 Jones. So it's under my pendings. It normally wouldn't be on MLS because I don't know why it didn't come up because it is 24 Jones. Maybe I should have said Jones Street. Hold on. Sometimes it's finicky. Tax, sorry. I'm just trying to get to where you can see that I can pull it up. Jones Street. I don't know. Fort Bend. Come on. Why isn't it pulling up? I don't have the answer for you. It should have pulled up. Let's go to tax, realist tax. Maybe it's just having an internal issue. Let's see, 2402. Let's pull it up under realist tax. It does pull up under realist. I don't. So I went to the other tax. I like the other way better, but okay, it found it. Parcel ID. So it's actually for the tax ID, that's the parcel ID. I don't want to copy the link because, so click off of it and copy over here. You don't want to copy the link because you want to paste the numbers, or you can type it in and then click the use wizard box if it's not already checked. I am the listing agent because I'm showing you as the listing agent as an example. So use wizard because it's going to make your no records found. Oh, I should have put the right county. That was my fault. See, I'm not thinking as I'm doing this. Fort Bend. Now it's going to find it because I actually had to put in the right county, which is Fort Bend, right here, if you don't know where to find it. And then this is your legal description, which is the other thing that you're going to need to know right here. Hold on to that for just a moment, please. It literally auto-populated all the information. So start from bottom to top. Dashboard details, we don't need to put any more details because it already auto-imported everything we need for the most part. Contacts, that's the third one down. You need to add a contact. Create new transaction contact. So it's going to be your seller, Mr. Seller, last name, test, and their email, test@yahoo.com. You have to put in their name, first and last, label them, and their email, and check add to address book because you want to add everybody to your address book because you're probably going to do another deal with them. I don't want to say this because I have myself and I already added myself earlier and my brother. And it automatically put me as a listing agent because I told it I was the listing agent and it knows who I am because you logged in. It will know who you are. So look, you can check it. Ryan Hijick, legal name Ryan Hijick. You don't have to put the legal name. You can just put Ryan Hijick and then add the address book, save. Anyway, I already added myself. I showed you how to add. Always just click add. If you've already saved them before, you can hit add existing contact. Now, we're going to go to forms. That's the next one down. It will already input most of those forms that I showed you in this checklist. So you need the 1 to 4. That's right here. Third party and this, you'll get when you get the offer, because that's negotiable and that's to be included with the offer. There's another video that I have. You need to Google the water district that it's in and Google the mud. So if it's in a mud, which this one's not, because I know, because it doesn't, none of the jurisdictions say mud. You do need to disclose Fort Bend Drainage District because it is a special entity, tax entity, but I already called them and they don't have a notice. So I don't have one to give them. But if they did, I would have had to provide it on my MLS listing. That's a story for another day. You do need to Google the mud. So if it was, let's say, Fort Bend Mud 21, I would Google Fort Bend Mud 21 notice to purchaser, Fort Bend Mud 21 notice to purchaser, and then I would find that PDF and post it on MLS. If all else fails, call your local title company or the rep that you have that you're going to send this file to in the future, someone you have a relationship with, or the local title company that you're going to give the file to, and ask them to give you the mud. And they trust me, they want your business. They will give it to you. I assure you, they will give it to you. Seller's disclosure, this is something that we need to give them so they can fill out, but that's not for right now because you're just trying to create the listing, but you do need to have that posted on MLS as well. If it's built on before 1978, you need a lead-based paint. This one's built on 78, so I did one just in case. I mean, it's a fine line. It's a fine line. I'd rather do it than not. Information about on-site sewer. There's no on-site sewer. You can ask the seller for the survey. Right now, we're not doing an intermediary because there's not even another agent involved yet. It's not a condo. There's no amendment. Um, there's no referral, and this you do after closing. So it's pretty simple. And you still need, oh, at the top, I was wondering if things are missing. This is the most important things right now. Those four things, and I've got them right here. That's going to be filled out already. That's going to be filled out already because it's just notices. That's going to be filled out already. Here's the listing agreement and flood there in the information about brokerage services, which of course is the most important, which you probably should have already had signed. But I will say a lot of this is already auto-filled because it knows that you're the listing agent and the seller. So the good news is it auto-fills most things. I've noticed though that the bottom line is usually incorrect for some reason because the sales agent is not Texas United Realty, my license number, my email, and my phone number. For some reason, that's not always filled out, but everything else is, which is the hard part. All the other numbers and stuff that you need that you don't always have memorized. So that's cool. Always save your work, just like when you were in school. Hit save, exit right at the top. So I'm done with that, because I know that those are already filled out. If you don't believe me, check yours. And then, so the next is the listing agreement, which is the most important, but obviously you need to have these things as well. Brady went through the rest of the items already, so I'm not going to circle back on that. I am going to teach you how to fill this part out, again, using the tax records. Again, I showed you how to look at the entities for the different districts that it might be in that we have to disclose. PID, MUDs, drainage districts. Now, what you want to do, I actually own this property. That's why I'm using it as a test. The owner's name is right here if you want to double check the spelling of it. But typically, I always ask my seller up front. I ask them for the copy of their driver's license, or if you don't feel comfortable asking that, you can just ask them to text you all the seller's names, full names, legal names, and current mailing address. You'll need that. So it auto-populated my brother and my name because I already added them as a contact for a seller. It already added the address. If they have a different mailing address, you can just delete this and change it to that. You can add the client's phone number. In this case, I'm the seller and the agent. That's typically not going to happen, but even if I am selling this property, which I am, believe it or not, my keyboard is not wanting to write right now. Okay, so you still need a paperless pipeline file, and you still need to put yourself as the seller, and you still need to sell it. Our company has to have records for everything, even if you're selling your own property. So in this case, I'm selling my own property. In this case, I am the client and I'm the agent, and you are allowed to sell your own property, but we do have to disclose that. It is disclosed on MLS. I put it in the agent remarks. Ryan Hygic is the owner of subject property and is also the listing agent. It also has to be in the contract. It has to be in the actual contract when you're negotiating with the buyer. There's a space for that, which is something for another day. So let's start at the top. It already auto inputted that. It already auto inputted my company. You might just want to add your email because for some reason it doesn't auto input that. Lot blank, lot 3 block blank. Well, why didn't it fill it in? Sometimes it won't fill this in, so you need to be real careful. There is no block listed, so there's just nothing I can do about it. But they also didn't list the addition, which goes right there. Okay. Blank addition. It's Freeway Manor, Section 1 addition, City of Rosenberg, Fort Bend. That was already filled out. As you saw, I didn't even fill that out. Exclusions, that's very important. That's where you have to list the things that are attached to real estate, to the house or the land that is not going to be included. Meaning a wall mount for the TV. That has to go with the property unless it's stated in the contract as an exclusion. So this is a good reminder for you to ask them, is there anything that you want to take with you that's attached to the real estate or land? Basketball goal, blinds, curtains. That safe would not count as an exclusion because it's not bolted in. But if it was bolted into the floor, it would have to be listed as an exclusion. So let's pretend that it is bolted in and this is Jones Street, even though it's not. I would have to say gun safe in office as an exclusion because I don't want to give it to the buyer when I sell this property. It's my gun safe. So, and this also has to go in the 1-to-4 contract. Just like me disclosing that I'm an agent and the owner needs to go in the contract. The listing begins on today, ends, I do 6 months. I think that's 6 months. I mean, it's negotiable, but I do 6 months. Broker fee. This is the two ways of doing it, A or B, not both. A is if you want to go ahead and they want to go ahead and tell them, yes, I will pay the other agent a 3% commission. You do 6% and you give the other agent 3%. If they say, well, I'll negotiate the buyer's agent's commission when I get a contract, then you can't do 3% because they wouldn't tell you what they're going to give the other agent. Unfortunately, it happens. Then all you can do is say what you're going to get. And then the other agent will have to negotiate their commission that the seller pays on paragraph 12 of the contract, of the 1-to-4 contract. A discussion for another day. In this case, I'm going to do 3% and 3% to the other agent because I'm not going to take a commission on the sale of my own property. That does not mean that you don't have to have a split with the office. But I'm going to choose to pay that split out of my own pocket and write the office a check because I don't want to collect commission on it and then I have to pay taxes on it. I'm just saying this does not stop even me from my obligation to pay my office dues for this sale. Okay. But this has to match what I'm doing at the closing. And I am giving the other agent 3%. Now, typically you would do 6% and pay the other agent 3% because you're typically not going to be your own client. Okay, moving on. That's probably going to be a call. I don't charge any other disbursement fees. Some agents they charge $300 for advertising and marketing fee. I don't. I'm thinking about maybe doing it due at closing. I'm still thinking about that one and something I'm considering. But 90 day, I always do a protection period for 90 days. Harris County, it's the county that your office is in, not that your property is in, by the way. That's why I don't even think you can change that. I'm filing this within 5 days on MLS. Pretend it's not on MLS already. But if you had to wait a time period, let's say they say they're still cleaning it out or they're still getting ready, then you would check this box and you would put in the days. You're hardly ever going to put will not file. That's most people obviously want it on MLS. This is already pre-shown because I always use Showing Smart HAR to manage my showing houses. We can talk about that another day as well. Broker is authorized to put a key box, and I always check a intermediary. Nope, I don't check any of those, and typically your house is going to be able to pass all those financing unless it's like needs a lot of work. that can be discussed with me as well. It's not involved in a reload. Most of the time, my agents miss. I'm even missing it, aren't I? Where is it at? There's a little box that most of my agents miss. I don't think I'm to it yet. General information, notice to buyer and seller. Check everything that I checked. Oh, H. You need to ask your client, don't just click this button. You need to ask your client, preferably in writing, are you or are you not a foreign person? That is not, sorry, I understand that that may not be comfortable for everybody to ask, but we need to know because 1031. Hold on just a second. My dog's barking. Okay, sorry about that. I promise I'm almost done. You need to ask them this question because if it is of foreign person, then you need to ask the title company what steps to follow because there is um, a foreign exchange tax sometimes, which I would need to help you with that. A foreign tax is not fun. It's taxed, an extra tax on top of the property sale, and it can be quite expensive sometimes. Usually they need to refer to a CPA, which specializes in this, which the title companies typically have a referral for. In fact, they always have in my cases that I've had this come up. So that's of uber importance. And this is where we would sign. I'm going to save my work. I should have checked is not because I know I'm not because it's me. But anyway, let me, if I need to go back in there, just click that. I'm going to show you how to send it off for signing. FERPTA is what it's called. FERPTA is that foreign tax. This foreign partnership, trust, or estate. FERPTA. Is not. Okay. But again, you need to ask. There's a lot of work when taking a listing. You have to do all the groundwork. And that's why we get paid the big bucks, right? I mean, it is what it is. So I'm going to check all the files that I want signed by me and my brother that have to be signed to take the listing. I'm not going to do seller's disclosure right now. I typically do that on a separate transaction because sometimes this doesn't work well in the electronic mode and they can't finish it for some reason. I have yet to figure it out. I personally did it to see if there was an issue and I got through it, so I don't know. But sometimes you just need to print that out and you can check this. And then when you go here, you can hit print and just bring it to them when you take the sign over there or the lockbox or when you get the key from them. I mean, there's many times you're going to be going over there. Trust me, there is a lead-based paint. I don't need any of this stuff. So I did all the things on the checklist that I just showed you earlier at the beginning. Hit the basket because you're checking out, just like Amazon. And I'm going to hit the pin. You could hit print and you would print it, but I don't want to print it. I want them to sign it. So I'm checking the pin. It's going to convert you to the electronic side of this platform, which is free because it uses this platform. It's like DocuSign. It's very similar. Again, work top to bottom. Signers. Add participants. Add from transaction. You already included. So I'm going to add the sellers and me because there's some things you're going to need to sign as the listing agent. Select. That easy. Now you click anywhere over here. Just click and it brings up all the signers. Now it already has most of the spots filled in, but don't be too careful because some of the spots are not filled in. Let's say it was missing Ryan's signature as the seller. Well, I would click, drag, and drop. Say it was missing my signature here. Click, drag, drop. Click, drag. Obviously, it would be here. Drop. I'm just showing you how to drop it. I don't care if I sign it twice. And it already knew that this was the listing agreement, so it already pre added. I forgot to put in the price. So anyway, I can fix that with this. I can add myself as the listing agent, or I already did. I can drop a text line right here. And I fill it out once. Oh, yeah, I just shrink it. I fill it out once. I go to sign it and it'll send it to my email for me to sign it. And it'll send it to your client's email. That's why you have to put their email in. I think that's what I had it listed for, but anyway, that's just a hint. I'm going to have to do it once I sign it. Okay. Anyway, I missed that because I was going too fast, but you should have filled that out. The list price, that's like the most important thing when you were filling it out. Anyway, I just double check signatures are where they're needed. And it does not have my signature as a listing agent. So I'm going to drag and drop. And then a checkbox for broker associate, because that's what I am. I'm not the broker. Lead-based paint. The other buyer's going to have to sign that. But right now, I forgot the check boxes for I don't have any knowledge of lead because I don't. And I have no reports of lead because I don't. So I just dragged and dropped. And now the drum roll, please. Next. Seller is error. Okay, so signers. Why is there an error? Oh, I don't know why it didn't convert. Usually it'll convert the emails over, but you saw what I did. I'm going to hit save at the bottom. And all I did was click signers and click the warning button. I have my brother's email memorized. Update transaction contact because I don't know why it didn't. It usually saves their email from when I already saved it from the beginning. I don't know why it did that, but it gives me a chance to show you how to fix things. Hit save. And now, drum roll, hit next. I always remind every day in case they claim they don't see it or didn't get it. Just it sends them an automatic reminder at 9 a.m. every day to sign it until they sign. And don't expire it soon. Like put a month out. So you may need to change that because you don't want it expiring in a week because sometimes it takes them a week to sign it. Sometimes it takes them a while. So you usually have to text them or call them and remind them. But anyway, this will do it every day, but as well send them a text, say, hey, it's being sent. Boom. And I will get an email and it's just going to say, click here to sign because I'm the listing agent and the seller. So I'll get two emails actually. That's all. That's literally it. I wish I could say there was more, but there's not. It's that simple.